Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're digging into a really important question. Why is professional development for English teachers in Nepal just not working the way it should? And more importantly, what could a better future actually look like? We're going to explore this through the lens of one educator's personal journey.
Wow, this quote from educator Damer Singh Saud, it really gets to the heart of the problem, doesn't it? For so many teachers, this required training feels more like a box-ticking exercise than a real chance to grow. So let's break down what's actually going wrong here.
So, where does this story even begin? Well, it's not with some dry policy paper or a government report. It starts with a personal experience, and that experience reveals pretty much everything. We're going to see this entire system through the eyes of one person. An educator whose own journey from a super remote classroom all the way to earning a PhD really put a spotlight on the huge flaws in the traditional top-down approach to teaching and training in Nepal. His experience shows us what all that policy looks like from the ground up. Okay, so let's dig in. What are the actual nuts and bolts problems that turn this vital training, something that's supposed to inspire and equip teachers, into, well, just a formality? So the big problem? It's this one-size-fits-all model. The idea that you can create one training program in the capital and then just push it out across the entire country, no matter how different the local situations are. And in practice, this creates a pretty predictable four-step process that might look good on paper, but really fails teachers on the ground. You look at this and it seems logical, right? It looks organized. But the reality is, it completely misses the diverse, complex, and often really challenging situations teachers are dealing with every single day. There's just no room for local needs, and maybe most importantly, there's zero follow-up. And this slide, wow, this just perfectly lays out that huge disconnect. Just think about it for a second. A teacher in a remote village who's got kids speaking multiple languages in one classroom and has no internet needs something totally different from what this centralized training is offering. The training just assumes everyone has resources and a context that, for many, simply don't exist. So you can see, these aren't just little hiccups. They are massive, systemic barriers. The digital divide makes a lot of modern techniques just impossible to use in rural areas. And that short-term, one-and-done workshop model, it has no follow-up. But at its core, it's a system that treats teachers like passive buckets to be filled with information, not as professional partners to collaborate with. Okay, so that's the problem. But here's the good news. It does not have to be this way. Not at all. There are places in the world that are getting this right, and we can look at some of these successful international models for a little inspiration. Now, this table is fascinating. It shows us two totally different but successful ways to approach this. You've got Finland, which builds its entire system on trusting teachers as these autonomous, research-driven professionals. Then you have Singapore, which is all about a well-funded, super-structured system of continuous support. They both value their teachers like crazy, just through different frameworks. And the big takeaway here, it's not about just copying what Finland or Singapore does. You can't just drop their system into Nepal and expect it to work. The real lesson is about the principles behind it. You have to trust your teachers as professionals, and you have to build a system that genuinely supports them, not one that just dictates to them. Okay, so if we take those principles, trust and support, what would a system built on them actually look like in Nepal? Well, based on the analysis, here's a potential blueprint for some real change. You know where it starts? With money. It often does, right? But seriously, the proposal is to set aside at least 5% of the entire national education budget specifically for teacher professional development. That alone sends a massive signal that teacher growth is a priority, not just an afterthought. So at the policy level, it's about tearing down that old top-down model. That means creating local training centers at the provincial level. It means actually investing in digital tools and training. It means using a training of trainers model so that expertise can spread. The whole goal is to create a flexible system that makes training accessible, relevant, and actually sustainable. And this isn't just about big policy changes from above. It's about changing the culture inside the schools themselves. So instead of a once-a-year workshop, imagine this, a continuous culture where teachers are encouraged to reflect on their own work, to learn from their peers, and even to become researchers in their own classrooms, solving real problems as they pop up. When you really get down to it, fixing teacher training isn't just some technical administrative task. It's connected to something much, much bigger. It's about the future of the nation itself. And that really brings us to the bottom line. This isn't just about making teachers better at lesson planning or classroom management.
Investing in teachers is fundamentally an investment in the potential of every single student they teach. And by extension, it's an investment in the future of the entire country.
I mean, really think about that for a second. When teachers feel supported and empowered, when they have the freedom to innovate and adapt, they create classrooms where kids learn to think for themselves, to be creative, to solve problems. And those are the exact skills that a country needs to thrive and transform.
So we're left with this one big question, really. What's the true cost of failing our teachers? When we reduce their professional growth to just a formality, what opportunities are we losing? What potential is being left on the table, not just in our classrooms, but in our entire society?